Greetings and hello there, everybody. It is I, your Star Wars father, here with the Gerbil and a new guest, the 501st Trooper, who is Gerbil's guild leader. We thought it'd be a lot of fun. Actually, I gotta give full credit to Gerbil. This is his idea. Bring on his guild leader and talk about the trials and travails and challenges and the fun of leading a guild for, I guess, like 8 years now. So I'm gonna turn it over to Gerbil. He's got a full spate of topics. Yes, I know. I pulled spate out today. You don't get a lot of spate these days.
Spate. What's a spate? Is that like a different kind of a shovel or something?
I don't know. I might have to Google that. I'll tell you what. You talk and I'll Google spate to make sure I'm using the word correctly. But I've heard it used as presenting a list of topics in the past, or perhaps
it's a large number of similar things coming in quick succession, or a sudden flood in a river.
Oh, well, yeah. Perhaps.
There we go.
Well, I'll be washed away by your high intellect.
Yeah, and our California friends are familiar with this right now, but SWGOH gamers in 2024 are not. There is not a spate happening, but there could be. We'll get to that in a moment. But first, ladies and gentlemen, I have the distinct pleasure and honor today to welcome my guild leader, as NOOCH just said, the one and only 501st Trooper 74. If you're in Kyber 1 or 2, you've probably been beaten by him. So here's the man and the legend. So 501st, man, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great. It's so glad to be here. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on today. So I thought it would be fun to have you on and just kind of NOOCH and I are obviously, we really love this game, and we bring a lot of people on, mostly content creators, and we talk about it a lot from our perspective as content creators. Of course, we're also players in the game, but we're usually the ones that are kicking back, doing our own thing, collecting our own videos and exploring our own ideas. But you approach this game from a very different perspective, not as an individual player, but as like a facilitator, an organizer, kind of like if we look at it from a pyramid, you're looking at it from a macro perspective. What is that like? Because I dabbled in it and I didn't like it. So why do you like it? Why do you do this as a guild leader?
Well, I took the helm back in 2016 when our former guild leader just quit the game, and somebody just needed to step up because I really loved our guild and we needed to keep it together. So I had some free time and I thought, I can do this. I got time to do this. So I just volunteered, and one of our officers said, "Yeah, you're the guy. Okay, let's go." So that's basically just how it started.
So you asked for the pain.
Yes.
And you said what, 2016?
Yeah, about the fall of 2016, I want to say. It's been quite a while. I just don't remember exactly.
When did the game come out?
November 2015.
Right.
And guilds came to the game the next spring.
So you've basically been a guild leader since almost the inception of the guild concept in the game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's impressive. So just for a little bit of background info here, our guild is the Dark Force Separatists, and
which started out, by the way. Oh, sorry. Which started out, by the way, as Dark Force Empire, and then we had to change our name.
Oh, why did we have to change it?
Because the guild leader just walked away, didn't pass the torch, so we had to reform a new guild and bring everybody over.
Oh, that must have been difficult.
It was, yeah. I had some great officers helping me out during that transition.
Huh. So I don't know what that would have been like back then, but about 3, maybe 4 years ago, I was a guild leader because our guild leader just evaporated, just disappeared and left us all kind of high and dry. And what that means, of course, is you can't promote, if you don't have any active officers or whatever, you can't promote people to officers, so you can't start events, you can't boot inactive players, and then the guild will eventually die, right? So, but I don't know what the current policy is, but about 3 years ago, I reached out to Capital Games, and it took about a month to get a response after multiple requests. But they finally investigated and confirmed. They said, yeah, it's true. Your guild leader has been inactive for like 400 something days. And then they went ahead and made me the active guild leader.
Oh, nice.
So it took you guys over a year to notice? Is that what you're saying?
So,
Well, hey guys, I don't think we have a leader here.
No, well, we had a really great group of people, but it was like we weren't really hardcore as a guild, and it still isn't. It really, that guild is just a real chill hangout place, and they have a lot of fun. But they don't issue guild orders. They don't tell people, like, hey, we're gonna hit Rise of the Empire. We need to relegate Jawa, which I volunteered for.
Right.
Recently, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. If I were first, you were like, yeah, I just knew you needed an excuse for that one.
So can I ask a question of 500 first year?
Yeah. So
let me ask you, so as a guild leader, and I've been a guild leader too, so I think everybody here has been it, but you've stuck with it for the longest. And so I want to talk about recruitment, because to me, that was the thing that was the biggest burnout of all of it. That and micromanaging TW, which I don't know if you guys micromanage TW or not, but we had to put your battles in and say, I did this battle with this every single time you do a battle. But, I get people, and I cover the new mid gamers, everybody, and they're always saying they can't get into a good guild. And you guys are a high level guild, but tell me I'm not crazy that if you get somebody that's under your required level, but they're going to participate and you have a good feeling of that, you're going to bring that person on, right, and let them build up in the guild, because you need somebody to get tickets every day, as opposed to the person that's not doing that. Would that be an accurate statement, or somebody's looking for a guild? What would they tell somebody in order to get into to punch up in guild level, I guess?
Yeah, so we put out ads. We don't have people drop out of the guild that often. We've pretty much maintained the same core people for many, many, many years. They love to stay with us because we have a very active Discord, and we treat players with respect, and we understand that they have a life too sometimes, and they can't always meet 600 when they try. They can't always do it because life comes first sometimes. So anyway, we put ads out and we say we're looking for players at this level that have this many GLs and so forth, and just this much GP. But from time to time, somebody will come in and say, hey, I don't meet your requirements quite everything, but could you consider me? And if they have a really focused roster and they're getting GLs, we'll still give them a chance and let them, get tons of rewards with our guild and, get higher up really, really, really fast.
Which is part of the reason, like for new players, it's like go get some geos and get those guys up, and then farms direct, like you said, have a directed farm. If your roster looks like it's really messy and you're all over the place, the guild's probably gonna say, well, they don't really know what they're doing. We're not gonna bring them on. But if you're watching content and you're going straight for executor or something as a new player, and you've got some geos, you're gonna get into a GOTB guild. There are guilds out there that will take you if you're just gonna get your tickets every day. I tell people that all the time. But anyway, I just that to me that was an interesting question I wanted to ask, and yeah, I'll leave it. I'll go back to you guys now, but yeah.
Yeah. So, did you recruit me? I can't remember who recruited me.
No, Voxen actually recruited you. He does a show with Celiac Sarah sometimes. He just put out a new episode yesterday, actually.
Oh, okay. So, NOOCH, you look really confused there.
He's confused.
It's a podcast on like Spotify, Apple, iTunes, whatever. That's right, because he invited me on his show about 2 years ago. It was during the COVID era. Oh, the dark times. Yeah. But he's since left our guild.
Temporarily.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah. So like we've got 492 million GP. So we're approaching the big 500. What do you think is the hardest aspect of being a guild manager or leader?
For me, I struggle when it comes time to having to kick somebody. Sometimes there are certain people you're just happy to see go, because they're not only are terrible players, but they are terrible people in in Discord, and that rarely ever happens. And I don't lose a wink of sleep over that when that happens. But sometimes you get players that have been with us for years and years, and their performance just drops over the course of months and months and months. And you warn them, hey, you got to do better. And for whatever reason, they keep plummeting, and eventually time comes, you got to kick them. And when I used to do that, I would lose sleep at night.
Oh,
really?
I would feel bad. Yeah, I would feel really, really bad.
Can I?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I was the opposite when I was a guild leader. We actually made like a game, and we called it the NOOCH boot. So like we would go in Discord, and I'd put like I'd give a big everyone tag and say, everyone, here are the people not getting their tickets. Get them this week, or you're in danger of the NOOCH boot. And then when we did it, we'd have a big announcement and stuff. So I don't lose any. I never lost any. Although, if you've been playing with someone for years, I totally get that, where it's like, and they just faded, because we all have life, right? Like, nobody plays this game. You know, you have periods of your life where you play less or play more or take a break or whatever. And, you know, I always compared like internet and game friends to like work friends. It's like, these are people you actually have a real connection with. They may not be the closest people. You're not going to lean on them when you have some real personal problems. Maybe you do, a few people, but as a group, you're working together toward a common goal, and you establish a lot of camaraderie there. So I get that feeling. I get it, even though I didn't share it at the time. Anyway, I'm cruel. I'm cruel. It's true.
I think
the issue. Sorry, Gerbil. To solve my issue with that problem of losing sleep and such, I started recently doing this. I would kick a person if they lapse over months and months and months. I would kick a person, bring somebody else in, but then I call it the scared straight program. I would contact the person I'm kicking and say, hey, we will absolutely give you 100% another chance once we get a new slot. You can come back in. And that has seemed to work wonders. The two people that we had to do that to, they have been phenomenal ever since they came back. Not one issue with them. So that's what I call the scared straight program.
I think that probably the most, I think the number one thing that actually keeps me playing this game isn't the game itself. Honestly, it's being engaged with the community. Like there are some folks in our guild that just are a riot. Like I go into Discord and I read some of what they say, you know, or the random responses, Kermon Potency. And it just drives me, you know, like sometimes drives me up a wall, but sometimes I'm laughing out loud. And I think that makes the game, I think, just so much more enjoyable. And so I would just say to anybody watching, like, if you're not in an active guild or a social guild and you want a bit more, you know, social contacts, then NOOCH, you're absolutely right that. And I never thought of it in that context, but the people in the guild, many of them, they are like work friends. They're people that I socialize with. I really enjoy talking to sometimes. I may never have seen them face to face, just like at work. I may never have seen them outside of work, but that doesn't mean you still can't develop or have a meaningful, happy, healthy relationship with them. And I will admit that my guild has been, at times, a moment of support for me. I've shared a few times some struggles that I have and I do on my channel every once in a while. And like I got a message just last week from a guy in there that was really, really heartwarming. And I was like, wow, that like really, really lifted me. So like we got lifter players out there. And I think that as a guild leader, I would say to you, 501st, but also to so many other guilds out there, like you guys are probably, I think, among the most important members of our community. I think way more than a lot of the content creators, including myself, because you are what bind the community together. NOOCH is like, no. But no, I am very, very thankful for what you guys do. So like as 2024 progresses, from your perspective, what would you like to see changed in the game to help guilds or leaders or officers, you know, facilitate even better experiences for everyone?
I guess more officer tools. Specifically, none is coming to mind since it's so early in the morning. You kind of put me on the spot, but we've had plenty of officers asking for better officer tools, and many other guilds have been asking for that too for the past few years.
Okay.
So-
like in what way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
Well, so like, I'm going to assume you guys have divided up roles with like TB and TW
Yeah.
and recruiting. That would be a typical like designation, and maybe something else. I don't know. But so are you looking for like in-game roles to manage those kind of things where you have control of it? Or what do you mean by officer roles?
not necessarily officer roles, just like better controls in TB or TW, which I know they have some, but I think they could be better. I don't know.
So like when
I
you
need to
get
think about that.
10 galactic power away from hitting that first star because you're preloading, and somebody accidentally drops a 1-star IG-86 on there, why
Yeah,
can't you just
that's
actually
That's a perfect
shut it off
example.
instead of letting people violate orders, something like that?
Yeah, they can still violate. We've had that happen a
Yeah.
couple months back. Somebody accidentally got the star because they weren't paying attention
Yeah, we did
to
too.
what we were doing in Discord. So
Right.
and they can still do a what they call it, rogue deployment or whatever.
Right.
Rogue
Yeah.
action.
And you booted them immediately, right? And then lost sleep.
No.
Here we go. I'm sorry.
There were people that wanted, I promise.
I know.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Oh man.
Pitchforks
Yeah.
and torches came out of it.
Well, it's so easy, honestly, to make some of those mistakes. Like in my alt account, like I deployed my Inquisitors to the dark side on the Riva planet, missing the battle. And it was like, right? And then it
Mhm.
warned me. It said, "Are you sure you want to do this?" I'm like, "Yes." No. Oops.
Yes. So it would be nice if
Yeah.
there was a way we could just completely cut stuff off and they can't do anything no matter, what the orders are. We put on there that it overrides what they can do.
Yeah. I would love to see more territory war. And then I don't know if it's there, but like I would love to be able to see a log of like who attacked with what. Especially when you run into that moment where you
That's a
suddenly
good
go in and there's like 3 different teams that are preloaded and you're just like,
Who did that?
who's doing that? Who's doing that? Right? Because that just infuriates me. I feel like if I leave someone with turn meter, I feel it is my unquestioned responsibility
Right.
to throw my entire roster at it until I clear it so no one else has to. And I have done that and still not beat it. Yeah. But yeah, I would love to see that. In NOOCH, I can see the wheels clicking.
I'm just thinking. I have a lot of I kind of gave up guild leadership, and I'm still like and I mentioned this to you early, 500 person. I'm still like a token leader in my guild, but I still don't have time to do anything with it anymore. But I mean, I just remember the daily stress, and it really was, to me, it was stress and something that I enjoyed, but also, what do you do for like tracking? Because you've got to keep track of people. Do you have like spreadsheets that you do that stuff with, or do you just keep an eye on, or do you have somebody like a leader assigned to track and see how participation is going, or what are your behind the scenes machinations, I guess, behind the guild?
I have hot util, so I can see a lot of ticket data, obviously. So I basically keep track of that, and it's basically just all up here. There's no spreadsheet. I can see who's been, Gerbil. I can see who's been lapsing over the course of, like I said before, many months. Who's doing the downward trend and who's staying even and doing great. Yeah, there's basically no spreadsheet or anything.
So Hot Utils has a tracker? I wasn't aware of this.
Yeah, you can see who's been doing their 600s for the week, and you can export it out and see who's the slacker that week, and then you can ask them, have you been sick this week? What's this downtrend you just did? You just did a bunch of zeros 5 days in a row.
Yes, those passive aggressive manager questions. So, hey, are you doing okay? Translation, you suck, and I'm about to start coming after you.
We need to talk about your flare.
Generational
Ultimate
reference
Jedi
there, yes.
over there. Ultimate Jedi's got 600 flair today.
Yes, he does.
You've only got 37 pieces of flair.
Yes,
Oh,
he's gonna love
geez.
that.
Oh, so yeah, okay. You mentioned hot utils, and I think that that's something that honestly never really comes up much. And in any channel I watch on YouTube and myself, I don't have hot utils, but I keep thinking about getting it soon. So like, I know you're a big hot utils user, and it's done a lot for you. For people like me, honestly, I'm in like year 6.5 of the game. I still don't know what hot utils does. So you mind just sharing real quick for the community? What is hot utils and why do I need it or not?
I would say for the average player, it is a lifesaver when it comes to changing out mods, because changing out mods in the game is the worst thing in the world, period. You can manage your loadouts better. You can manage your mods better. Just to save your sanity, if you struggle with mods, that hot utils is the answer for you for just mods alone, if nothing else.
I am famous for I refuse to switch out mods, and it was one of the things that I retired from the game at one point for like 4 or 5 months, because that was one of the things was my guild required me to switch them out for TW, switch them out for TB, whatever, cam mission, geo mission, whatever. And I just got fed up with it. So now, like, I did my Grand Arena stream yesterday, and I'm doing SLKR tickets on the side, and I moved my Mara mods and my Darth Vader mods over to my SLKR, my First Order characters, just to do the tickets, and I didn't move them back for Grand Arena, and I forgot about it, and lost a couple battles. But I won't even do it for Grand Arena. I don't care. I hate moving mods. If I'm farming it a Galactic Legend, I'll move them over and I'll leave them there until the Galactic Legend's done. Then they go back on. So, but anyway, sorry, that's not a blow against hot utils, but I just thought I'd get that in there because God, I hate that. I hate moving on. And even one of my viewers is like, it's easy, just make a loadout. I'm like, oh, a loadout, you say? I mean, I know loadouts. I've been here since, and I just. It's just extra effort for me that kind of takes pleasure away from me, I guess.
Yeah, about the only thing I remod for is the raids, because I really, especially the current raid, I really like this raid now that I guess figured it out, and I still haven't hit the max crate on it yet. I'm so close. You know what really upsets me is, like, I had a bad run. I messed up my run, and when the run was over, I meant to hit discard, and when you hit discard, it pops up a thing that says, "Are you sure you want to discard it?" And I'm like, "Yes." But if you accidentally hit submit, it's like, done. that drives me nuts. It's like, if you're gonna warn me about discarding, warn me about submitting.
That's hilarious.
Oh no!
And who would have thought
that why you only scored
Gerbil
16 million that one time instead of 18 million?
No, I forgot to use my. I forgot to do the R7 or the Leia solo for the 2.7. Yeah.
Yeah, who'd have thought Gerbil would love the Endor raid? It's crazy. I'm shocked. Shocked, I am.
Oh no! It is really the easiest raid I think we've ever had, going all the way back to the original raid, perhaps. It is so easy once you get the hang of it. There's almost no thought needed for it, and I think that the next raid is going to be brutal. I really expect the next one to be a pain in the rear, because I think they made this one too easy. That's controversial, maybe.
Well, no, I still auto it. I auto it. I'm not engaged in the raid. I mean, I'm engaged in doing it, but I'm also managing multiple accounts. So I mean, that's part of it. Managing 3 accounts and making content for them. It's time consuming. So I just auto through it and get my points and get my stuff, and I get out. And
okay, so
yeah.
So you auto it. I have a lot of fun with it. 501st, what's it like as a guild leader when you're like, come on, guys, we're only 20 million from the next crate?
Stressful, to sum it up. Just very stressful, because we do that so often in TW and TB. Everybody jumps in, it seems, in the last hour. And I wind up using that Marty McFly gif where he says, why do we have to cut these things so damn close every time,
It's so true. It's so true. And with my time zone difference, often I have to go to bed like 9 hours before it's over, right? Or like actually it's like 6 hours. So it ends at around 4 a.m. for me. So often I'm going to bed and I'm looking at the map and I'm like, well, I've got 4 GLs. Do I defy the orders? Do I throw them at this? And I'm like, well, why not? But then I just feel like I'm doing the wrong thing. So, yeah. Territory wars. Speaking of territory wars, we got an update coming. See how that was connected right there?
Kind of.
No, I think the update is going to be. What do you guys think about the update?
I think we know I'm kind of excited. So I may have gotten a little overexcited about the update, and perhaps because I don't recall them, in the past publishing an update a week ahead of time and also saying the game will be down for an hour. And the game has gone down before, whatever, for brief periods of time. But I keep trying to recall it, and I keep asking people, hey, do you remember them saying a week out, an update is coming, and it's going to shut the game down for an hour? And I think a few times they've given us early warnings on updates, but not without no information. And I know there was some stuff about the legal being updated, and yesterday we had an update, right, and it said we're putting in some stuff for the future of the game. And I have felt like, for me, and I've said I probably just hammer on this too much, but when they released Lightspeed bundles and they just put these GLs out there as a catch-up mechanic for folks, I have felt like something big was coming to the game this year ever since that happened. I just thought there had to be a specific reason behind that, not just a general catch-up method, or not just a way to make some easy money for a few months, every 2 or 3 months I feel like there's a specific reason. I feel like something is coming, and so I got all excited when I saw that and maybe got a little overexcited to say, maybe this is it. Maybe it's coming. Maybe it's not. But, maybe it is an update for the future, or perhaps it's just a normal, regular, system update. They're changing. People are like, they may just be changing servers. And I'm like, well, that's sad and makes me sad inside because I just get excited about big stuff happening in the game.
So I think the framework is going to enable the Bow event to come back every other week until free-to-play players almost have her, and then it's going to go away for 6 months. That is the framework.
That would definitely, massive seed change for the game right there. That's it. It's all around the Bow event. Yeah, I agree. Happening as many times as possible. Good point. And shutting off the Cal event for all eternity.
Yes.
And that is so in line with what CG might actually do as well. I can see that happening without doubt. Now, I don't know. They have shut the game down before in the past with some notice. I don't think it's been a week. The thing that gets me wondering and suspicious of something bigger happening is the almost desert of activity from Capital Games so far this year. We are a month and a half into the year. We have 2 new characters. And I think the last 2 years we've had 4 at this point. It is a very, very slow year. We had the Comeuppance and we had the STAP, which we'll get to in a second. But so I'm suspecting that framework, there's so many different things it could be. I mean, it could just be literally they're replacing the server itself, the physical tools, but they would have to have hundreds of those. So I don't think that's the case. So I think that it's my hope is that it will be something substantial related to territory wars. I don't know. I'm just really crossing my fingers. I wish we even had just preloaded or auto-deployed units like we can in GAC. Set your defense and leave it there until people choose to change it. I would love to have that because I hate setting my defense in TW 4 times a month. And I know it doesn't take long, but it just feels like 10 minutes of lost time every time. That's 40 minutes a month just gone to set my D. And I know we changed D, but yeah, whatever. So I said STAP. What do you guys think about STAP? Or should we STAP right here and move on to the movie list?
Golly, really? I'll say let me talk about the TW for a minute. So, I mean, that was a big thing last, what was it, 6 months ago that the top, Caw stopped playing. Was it Caw?
Yeah.
Yeah, stopped playing so. TW and just said, forget it, we're out. And That may have changed for them. I don't know since the indoor raid, because I think the indoor raid is easier than the crate dragon raid, and they can put less effort into that. But yeah, I think TW is well overdue for an overhaul. It's been a long time, and there's a lot of ways to overhaul it. So I think that's a good call too. It could be something like that, and that would be a big deal. That'd be a big change. Just nothing new per se, in the game. Anyway.
Yeah.
Stab.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'll stab.
Stab. All right.
I can do it
You're
too.
on board with it.
I can do it too.
All right. All right. So what about STAP?
I think it's going to shut down Bad Batch on Grievous teams. That's for sure.
I think it's just meant for something in the future. I think it's this classic Capital Games says, "Hey, use it with Grievous," and it'll blah blah. Gives Grievous a bunch of health, and it's like, nah, it's 6 months from now, it'll be on some new Separatist team, and it wasn't even meant for that at all. But they can't say that because then they're giving away they're letting the cat out of the bag. So I just don't even think it's meant for Grievous because we've seen that it looks like it'd be really cool, and then in Grand Arena, I think it has been really cool, but it's going to go somewhere else eventually, or it'll precipitate the cycle of whatever Newt or Destroyer Droid to roll into another team. It's something like that. I don't think its at its special purpose has been recognized yet.
Agree.
Yeah, I wholly agree with that. I love this speculational stuff, but I think that this year we're going to see obviously a Separatist or a Galactic Republic flagship. It makes more sense to be a Separatist. I get that. I'm still holding out that it's the Resolute, but whatever. But the STAP, I think, is a clue towards it being a Separatist ship because in the Clone Wars TV show, General Grievous eventually commandeers the Invisible Hand. And they made this ship and talks about it being, he's going to be great with Grievous. And I'm like, well, Grievous becomes the admiral or commander of the Invisible Hand, which attacked Coruscant. Big epic battle right there. And it turns out the Invisible Hand is actually a troop transport. It carried over 1 million droids. And so they're releasing a droid. And so maybe I'm like way overthinking this and just like trying to, make it happen by will. But I think that that's what we may get is the Invisible Hand with, although they'll, of course, put Trench or somebody else in the leadership, maybe Dooku. That doesn't make any sense, right? They'll say, yeah, we know what happened to the show, but we think you're going to love this.
Well, it's like Darth Revan on the Leviathan, same idea.
Yeah, exactly. So I no matter what, though, I would say don't sleep on STAP. Like, as soon as it's farmable, farm this thing. That
sounds gross. I'm sorry. In a number of ways, that sounds very unhealthy in general. If you're sleeping on STAP, maybe you need to go see a doctor.
Yeah, that's probably wise advice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say as soon as this thing's farmable, get it up to 7 stars, get it up to gear 12. If you chase the meta, if you're a meta chaser, because this thing is going to be required for something, I feel, this year. I mean, no matter what, even if they come out with a Galactic Republic era GL, which I think is also going to happen this year, then it's going to be a requirement, I think.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I was just looking to see what the like Jabba the Hutt requirements, though. They came out in July. The first one, Chrysanthemum did. So July, August, September, October was when the Jabba marquees came out, and then Jabba hit the table about 9 months later. No, a year later almost. But then, since then, they started expediting it. Leia's required marquees came out much closer to her release. In fact, Scout Trooper, I think, no, where was it? It's Drogon wasn't even farmable when Leia came out. You had to buy him, if I recall right, with crystals.
I think that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they've definitely compressed the farming time you have for marquees over the last couple of years to get the GLs and the galactic ships, legend ships. So I think that this is the beginning. February, announce it in June, introduce one marquee a month, February, March, April, May. Here's your GL. And the last one won't be farmable. So I don't know. That's what I'm expecting. Anyway, shall we?
Movie time.
Swipe right. Movie time. This is what everybody's here to see, right?
I love this.
Yeah. All right. So I heard through the grapevine that you may have a slightly different take on things, 501st.
Yes.
So,
I have a twist that I don't think anybody's mentioned before on this.
Caravan of Courage.
Stop!
I'm down for it.
It's every week? Anyway, all right, go ahead.
All right. Number 11, right? No, we started at
Number 11. No, number 11.
Yeah, number 11.
And I have this tied with number 10, by the way, because they're both just awful. Rise of the Skywalker. I can't say one is worse than the other because they're both just a steaming pile to me.
Wait, I got
can't
Rise of
even watch them
Skywalker.
anymore.
What's number 10?
Last Jedi.
Okay, I figured. Yeah, okay.
That's fair. I like you're a little more blunt about it than most of our guests are. They're like, well, it's myself included. It's Star Wars, so I still like it. But you're like, no, it's a steaming pile.
Yeah, 100%.
So, is there any specific that made it them not so good? I mean, I can guess, but what is it that you didn't like?
Well, of course, what they did to Master Luke and just the hodgepodge of everything that was thrown into Rise of Skywalker to try and wrap it up when it was already a train wreck to begin with at that point. So,
Yeah, what are we going to argue about that? I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
No. I think most people agree.
Not
All
like
right.
Celiac Sarah, but or Bit Dynasty.
Yeah, they had a different take on it. That's
Anyway,
for sure.
sorry. Go ahead.
All right. So that was pretty quick and definitive.
got it out of the way.
What?
Rip the Band-Aid off.
All right. So number 9, hopefully not a pile of poo-poo.
No. Force Awakens. It's okay, but as you know, it's a rehash of A New Hope, so it doesn't do much for me, unfortunately.
So, did you think that in the theater while you're watching it, or was it a revelation you had like later down the road?
Pretty much the first time I was watching, like, this is just A New Hope, step by step, all the way through, pretty much.
Yeah, I had
All
that
right.
same thought. I remember watching it, and I was leaning over to somebody who'd never seen Star Wars, and I was telling him, hey, you know what's going to happen next? I was like, wow, that was an unfortunately easy prediction. Figured it out about 30 minutes in.
All right. Well, we knocked the
Okay.
first 3 out. So, what comes in at number
Mhm.
8? Well, let's get to the good stuff.
Sequels are
Attack
done.
of the Clones at number 8.
I'm good with that.
I
Okay.
would put it higher, but there was just too much of the Padme Skywalker story, and it just kind of ruined things for me.
Are you
but
saying Star Wars
love
doesn't
the
do
last few
romance?
minutes of it. Sorry?
I was saying, are you saying Star Wars doesn't do romance well?
Well, no, it can. Like Han and Leia is really well done.
Yeah, it is. Extremely well. I agree.
Okay. Yeah. I'll buy that.
All right.
Actually hadn't thought of that much, but yeah, okay. All right. But that was in the sequels, and we just agreed that those were
No, that was in Empire Strikes Back, dude. What are we?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I think I blocked all of the romance out from my
What?
childhood.
Holy
Yeah.
Lord! I love you. I know. I mean, here. Wait a minute. I can play it right.
I love you. I know. Yeah.
I know.
It just verbally got played. It was just dropped into here. You didn't hear it, but anyway, people will hear it. All right. So Attack of the Clones. 501st hates sand. We've established that. So what happens next? What's number 7?
Number 7 is Phantom Menace. And
Ooh.
an enjoyable movie to me. I didn't mind the Senate parts or anything else. It's just Jar Jar kind of ruined that movie for me. That's why it's not higher.
So people have come to more, so I guess you have not over time come to appreciate Jar Jar a little more or enjoy the
No.
character.
I have actually depreciated him more over the years.
Do you write off the Jar Jar depreciation on your taxes?
If I could get my money back for Jar Jar, yes.
And yet there is a huge group on Reddit that keep pushing for Jar Jar to come to the game. And I assume they're being facetious, legendary Jar Jar. I'm just like, no, please. But they're like, he's the guy that nominated, Palpatine to get all the power. And I'm
Oh,
like, well,
I
yeah,
think
but
Jar Jar
still,
will be a
no.
legendary in the game at some point. I think he'll be a journey character, and I believe he will be, and I don't think he's going to be a marquee.
So like a Bo-Katan Darksaber.
No, yeah. I don't think he won't think he'll be a
Yeah.
galactic legend, but I think that we'll see characters like Boss Nass and Captain Tarpals and maybe just some random Gungan soldier come out, and then Jar Jar will be the. I think that's going to happen, and I think they will make. They'll make more money than they made on Bo-Katan on Jar Jar for sure.
Oh, that's for
people
sure.
People will go out and get Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Now, I think that if they do bring Jar Jar to the game, that makes a lot of sense, and I hadn't considered that. But yeah, give him a marquee squad of 4, and then he's a legendary chase or something, just like Darksaber Bo-Katan. You have a complete squad all together there, and they could take that opportunity to add some real humor to the game.
Yeah,
like have Jar Jar have no offensive abilities, but like, you know, he pulls out a gun and it flies out of his hand, shoots backwards, and then, you know, ricochets and hits somebody on the other team or something.
I think the best thing I've seen for Jar Jar was he adds Confuse to his own team, but somehow those Confuses, if you stack enough of them, they turn into like a giant bomb that annihilates a character on the other side or something. That's, you know, that kind of stuff is what it should be.
Stacking Confuse. I like that. I like that so much. Okay, I'm on board with Confuse your own team.
Yeah.
Or for every debuff you receive the corresponding buff, but it still counts as a debuff.
Yeah, stuff like that. And he's got to have the Osni Buma and Oopsie. You know, he's got to have those kind of ability titles. So,
oh, Misa gonna wail on that one.
Right. All right. So 501st has not gained any affinity for Jar Jar over time. What is number 6 for you? What's number 6?
Number 6 is Solo. I thought
it
was a very solid movie. I enjoyed it. It just came out at the wrong time, of course, and everybody agrees, I think. I think also they had, I believe they had director problems, and Ron Howard came in. I think he did a fantastic job salvaging that movie. It was a really enjoyable movie to me.
Okay. Yeah.
I like Solo. I can watch Solo anytime. I agree with that, and I thought that from the beginning, but my best friend thinks it's a dumpster fire. But I still enjoy Solo, and I thought Alden Ehrenreich did a really good job. You don't ever want just to do a flat imitation, but you know, I just thought he did a good job playing young Han Solo. I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Still have only seen it once, so maybe I should give it a second viewing.
Yeah, jump back in there.
Yeah, I'll try. Maybe next summer.
Look, okay, wait. The Kessel Run scene. So my wife watched this movie a few weeks ago, and she's kind of going through the Star Wars movies right now. And I was busy, and I just jumped up there, and all I saw was the Kessel Run scene. And that scene is it's quality stuff. Like the Falcon's breaking down, it makes, you know, it goes, it makes the noise where it breaks down, and then it just flies on the line. I mean, and Han and Chewie are just like, they're like making it. I thought Kessel Run, to me, I don't care what you say, that's peak Star Wars to me. I really enjoyed that scene. I like the movie in general, but that scene is a great scene.
Mm-hmm. All right, having only seen it once, I'm really foggy on it. That is the movie, right, where they go through, they land on some planet that's kind of like surrounded in that dark nebula thing that was blocked. Their escape was blocked by the Star Destroyer.
Kessel.
Yes,
Kessel.
Kessel.
Yeah, so that was it.
The spice mines of Kessel, yes.
So where was the light for that planet coming from?
Oh, Lord.
Because there was no... See, like, that's the kind of stuff I couldn't get past, right? They're flying in, and it's all black.
I'm sorry. Why are there explosions? Why is there sound on the explosions in space? Why does the fire keep burning in space? How do you...
Because that galaxy...
How do TIE fighters turn? I mean, come on, man.
Maybe
it's a galaxy far away with oxygen.
Maybe it was a white dwarf star close to the planet.
I'm out. This is
number 5.
I'm sorry. This is a Star Trek discussion if I've ever heard one. I'm out.
Oh, I apologize. Okay, let's move on.
Okay, number 5. Here's the twist I was mentioning. A New Hope, the despecialized version.
Despecialized?
Yeah.
I'm on board.
Are you familiar? You're familiar with that? Okay.
Well, I was there.
Yeah. Yes,
oh, you mean like the original non-director's cut,
Yeah,
yes.
You can actually get it off the internet. It takes it, but pretty much back to the way it aired in the movie theaters.
Right, where Han
I will not watch
first.
the edited version anymore. I refuse to watch that.
So if let's say this. So the edited version, do you place that number 12?
I think it would be just a little further up in the list. It wouldn't be way back there.
So to me, the best edits on the edited version, the whole Jabba stuff is stupid.
Yes.
And Greedo firing first is obviously the dumbest thing that George Lucas has ever done in his life, even more than the Anakin and Padme dialogue. But like, I liked the refurbishing of the Death Star battle. I thought that I liked those graphics. I thought that was an ad. And I kind of like the Jawa Sandcrawler kind of ad too. I thought that was an ad as well. But like this land speeder going through Mos Eisley just felt like just fluff to me. I'm trying to think of the other ads, but yeah, it's for me the Death Star battle and the Jawa, whatever you call it, crawler. Those are the only two ads I really enjoyed out of that. The ones I know of anyway.
Some were great, and some were like, you should never have put that in there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Han Solo stepping on Jabba's tail as he walked over him. I was like, what? Like, come on. If Jabba's supposed to be this super powerful dude running everything, no, that would have been like game over. You're dead. Like, yeah, I agree. I didn't like that at all.
No.
Yeah.
So I was 3 in '77 when my parents took me to see Star Wars, and I'm sure I can't. It's my very earliest memory. I can't remember anything before that, and anything after that is all preschool related. So I remember just the movie theater going black, and I'm sure I was expecting to see like a cartoon or something, and then the Star Destroyer comes over, and being that young, it just seemed to take forever, and I'm sure my jaw was on the floor, and I was just remembering, this is the greatest thing ever. So that's how I want that movie to be. I don't want to watch an edited version of it.
Yeah, we're same generation. I was 5 when I saw it at the drive-in. And I'll tell you, 501st, that my mom and dad told me that their adult friends had the exact same feeling when the Star Destroyer rolls on the screen at the beginning. Like, it's so known to us now that it's not the impact. But when that first happened, I mean, it was like seeing dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. It was like, Neo bending. It was like any other amazing special effect moment. Just the very beginning of it. The 1 minute of a Star Destroyer rolling, there's like, is this ever going to end? This ship is so huge. So yeah, I think that's a common thing there. So I'm on board.
Cool. All right. Well, I want to show my 5-year-old, and I've been debating, is he old enough? You two have just convinced me. He's old enough.
I turned out okay.
We're going to have a Star Wars night. Sort of.
Somewhat.
All right. New Hope at number 5. All right. Number 4.
Number 4, Revenge of the Sith.
Okay. Yeah.
I love this movie, and I waited literally decades to see how Darth Vader became Darth Vader. You hear about it in the stories after in the early 80s and such, how he became Darth Vader, but I wanted to see it on the big screen, and I had to wait decades and decades, and finally he made that movie, and it was just awesome to me. Dialogue could have been a little better, and it would have been higher on my list, but that's okay.
The understatement of the year.
Yes.
Dialogue could have been a little better. From my point of view, the dialogue could have been a little better. See what I did there?
Yeah.
No? Nothing? All right.
I put that one way higher on my list. I don't remember what it was. I think I saved it, but I had it like maybe 8 or 9.
I think Revenge of the Sith is a generational thing. I really do.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's a great movie, and I love it for all the reasons 501st said. But I also struggle with it for the like the dialogue is really bad, and to me, the whole scene, I know it's now a big meme and everybody, Palpatine and Anakin in the opera. It's like, can we just pick up the pace a little bit here? I don't know what this long conversation is. And I really felt like that, they kind of wedged in the conversion to the dark side. Like it didn't really, they could have really developed the dark side conversion a little bit better than they did. I get it. People argue about it, but it just kind of seemed a pretty quick conversion from I love everybody and I'm a Jedi to I'm murdering children. That was a fast transition.
Yes, and as a teacher, like that scene hit me kind of hard. Like it really did when he walked in there and I was like, "Excuse me, like we could have implied that, like he could have been crying later. I killed them all, and not just the adults and the council members, but the children too.
Yeah,
right?
just show us a hand or a foot or something. Rated R.
Okay,
There wouldn't be any blood. I mean, there wouldn't be any blood. It would,
no,
right.
cauterizes. Yeah. That's a good thing, right? If you're gonna get impaled, do so on a lightsaber.
All right, number 3.
All right, number 3.
Number 3, Rogue One. Phenomenal movie,
Yes.
I thought. And again, I had to wait a very long time to see them steal the Death Star. And I was not disappointed when that movie came out. I loved it.
I think, and again, I've seen it recently because we're going through the Star Wars movies, but it's a tremendous Star Wars movie. It is.
Yes.
And I think it deserves, I think it fits in that top 3 very easily. And for most of us, it does. And not only the movie itself, then you get the cherry on top at the end. And, it's, just seeing Darth Vader in full action is tremendous.
Yeah. Yeah, the cinematography is great. The special effects are beautiful. I think the casting was really, really good. The guys they brought in for Baze and Chirrut, I thought were really great. I absolutely loved Chirrut in the movie. I loved the I don't know if he was, but to me, he's the first time we saw on the big screen, I don't know, an unaligned Force user, right? I mean, he wasn't a Jedi, he wasn't a Sith, but he was in tune with the Force. And I loved that. I loved that expansiveness of the Force and its accessibility.
Chirrut was kind of the first, kind of opened up UFOs for the game, right? Like,
yeah, I just said that.
Oh, did you? Sorry, I have to. The boy isn't up. Like, I woke him up earlier, and I come back. He's got to get ready for school, and I knew he wasn't up, and he wasn't. He's laying there dead asleep. So sorry. 2 visits to wake the boy up for school.
Now, he's not unaligned though in the game, though, is he? He doesn't have that UFO tag, does he?
He should.
No, they didn't have the tag
absolutely
at the time.
should.
I mean, he was really, really early on in the game.
Maybe we need to start a petition.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's start a Chirrut Imwe. Is that how you say his name? Chirrut.
It's Chirrut Imwe. Everybody keeps saying Chirrut. Anna was saying Chirrut the other day. It's
he
Chirrut.
Always does. It bugs me.
Yeah, it's Chirrut Imwe.
I think that's why I say it wrong. Yeah, let's start a petition. Let's like see if we can get CG to add. I don't think they'll do it because it affects the whole gameplay, but maybe they will. You never know.
Whatever. I'm in. You know what? I might make a video about that here in the next few days or next week or so. I'm in.
All right. Maybe. Okay. You do that. I'll piggyback onto it.
Okay, good.
All right. And while we're at it, let's get Log Ray also. Okay. Moving on.
What?
He's a Force user.
Oh.
Log Ray. He's a Force user.
No, he's not.
He is. Yeah, he is. He actually is. Another movie, though, or discussion. Number 2.
Number 2, Return of the Jedi, the despecialized version. I do not want my Sarlacc looking like the plant from Little Shop of Horrors.
I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. I think that was a bad ad, and it definitely looks like Seymour, 100%. Or
Terrible.
not. Wait, what's the plant? Audrey 2.
Seymour
the Audrey
was the
2.
guy.
Audrey 2. Audrey 2.
Yeah.
Audrey 2.
Audrey 2. Yeah, that I think that inevitably almost any movie that gets the retouch never turns out as good as the original, partly because what they're doing is that they are visually altering what you remember, and if you loved it to begin with, they're changing that, right? It's like imagine you have your favorite pair of jeans, right? These are my comfy jeans. I love these. I wear them to work or whatever. They're my favorite pair of jeans. And then somebody sneaks into your closet at night. It's like, we're gonna stitch this up and we're gonna tighten this seam for you. No, right? It does. It negatively impacts it.
To me, these are culturally iconic films, and it'd be like, it's kind of like colorizing It's a Wonderful Life or something. You go back and you make this movie, and it's just going to be horrible. And I'm sure they did that. I guarantee there's a colorized version of It's a Wonderful Life, and it's a piece of garbage. And because to me, that's one of the I cry like a baby every time I watch that movie. And Gone with the Wind, Wizard of Oz. These are culturally significant films, and the one benefit I'll say is that the guy that messed with it is the guy that made it. So, okay. But I tend to agree that he should have just left it alone, and he should not have tinkered with it. And he should have just, if they were in their original forms, there would have been no difference in the impact and the ability for kids to go back. Zero difference. We still would have our kids watching them. They still would be movies that last for generations and generations. So it really didn't add anything to the experience, even though there were some of it was a little bit. But yeah, I think it was really good. I think the Sarlacc's a really good call there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
They got rid of the dance music, which they got rid of. You know, that's stupid. And then they changed the Ewok song. Yub Yub is gone,
Yub
and that
Yub.
is stupid. That song was great. Both the music changes were dumb, really, really dumb in that movie.
So I have a question for Gerbil.
Yeah.
How many stormtroopers do you think they ate at the end of the movie?
Oh man, that would have been a good feast for sure. Yeah, they are. They're cannibals, aren't they? Or not cannibals?
Yeah, they were going to
carnivores.
cook
They're
up
carnivores.
Luke and Han. Yeah, they were going to eat them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you got a lot of dead bodies lying. I mean, that's meat for, you know, a long. If you can like salt it and cure it and keep it around.
I'd never actually thought of that, but that is a really great question. I'll have to crunch some numbers, collect some data, and I'll get back to you on that.
Coming soon, yeah.
That is a good topic for my channel. Nooch, do you want to take that one though?
No, I'll do cheer it, and you do the cannibalisms or modified cannibalism. I guess it's not cannibalism.
Carnivores, carnivores, yeah. There was I was just at a mega Disney store in Shanghai today, and they had a stormtrooper Ewok, well, dead stormtrooper Ewok celebration statue that I almost bought. It's got 5 or 6 little Ewoks wearing stormtrooper helmets, and there's remains that looks like pieces of stormtroopers on the ground. It's like, well done, Disney, but I didn't get it.
That would look good on your shelf back there, yeah.
Yeah, I can put it back there next to my little 3D printed Wicket.
Right.
All right. So the number one movie. I wonder what that is.
Empire Strikes Back, the despecialized version. I like my Palpatine looking like he did originally in the hologram. No need to change that. There was no need.
I don't remember that change.
Oh, really? Because
quick.
It wasn't.
No.
It was not Ian McDiarmid. It was actually a woman, wasn't it? And there was somebody else's voice. Really, and they had really big bags under their eyes. And
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm seeing that.
Different
person. So cool too.
Different voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they actually changed it wasn't just the voice. They actually changed the things he was saying to Darth Vader, because you can make Darth Vader say whatever you want. And like when Darth Vader leaves Cloud City, and all he said in the new version, I don't know what he says. He has this big long sentence. In the original version, all he said was, "Bring my shuttle." That's all he says as he's storming out of Cloud City. In the new one, he's like, "Prepare for blah 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 blah." And I'm like, just bring my shuttle. I don't need this whole explanation.
Yeah.
I did like some of the Cloud City changes though, when they go through the, you know, and some of it's more open. That's kind of cool, but that stuff was a waste of time.
Yeah, Marjorie Eaton was her name. 79 years old at the filming.
And the voice was a man, but it was somebody different. I don't know. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see the difference, and that's a huge difference. I mean, it really is.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Huh. I had honestly never noticed that one.
And there you go.
Well, thank you so much. So what is it that makes it the best movie?
The whole thing. I mean,
the whole thing.
the
all right.
Introduced to when you're a kid, you're introduced to the Imperial Walkers and the whole Hoth battle. I mean, that just grabs your attention right at the start of the movie, and you're just hooked when you're a kid. I don't know about watching it for the first time as an adult. I never had that experience, but
yeah. The AT-ATs were amazing, and I still to this day love the speeders that Luke was piloting. I think it's just one of the coolest looking ships in the franchise. And I had an AT-AT. That thing was probably, huge. It was really, really big. And I love that thing. You could put 50, 60 characters inside it if you had that many. Put a couple up in the head, and then it had a little arm that you could control to move it around. That was so cool. That
was the start of Rogue Squadron too. I mean, the snow speeders. That was Rogue One, Rogue 2, Rogue 3. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it didn't exist before then.
Huh. Cool.
And yeah, it's my I'm on board with everything that's been said so far. So I had something that left my brain. I got to the Rogue Squadron thing. Oh, I know I was going to ask. So 500 first, we were kids when it came out. Darth Vader scared the bejeebers out of me in that movie. And I don't know if you remember that experience at all, but I remember just being actually scared, like actual fear of Darth Vader when he turns around and veers his face and says, "Prepare your men." It's like he's so giant on screen when he jumps out in the lightsaber duel and he looks like he's twice the size of Luke, just beating down on him with a lightsaber. I was scared of Darth Vader in that movie.
Darth Vader did not scare me. As a 3-year-old, I do remember that the Tuscans scared the living bleep out of me.
I'm on board with that. And to me, Empire is the greatest film ever made. And I know whatever. That's just me, But I love it so much. And I love it so much that when my best buddy Cosmo and I get together and watch it, which we may do, I'm going out to his house here in a month. All we do is make fun of the movie the whole way through, because we know it so much in and out that all we can do at this point is make jokes about, about the different facets of it and what's happening. But it's so ingrained into it's so ingrained to everything that I do and how much I love Star Wars. Empire is what it's all about. Greatest twist in movie history.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Well,
cheers.
I put Return of the Jedi above it, but
we know.
That's okay. I will bow. Yeah, I will bow.
They had Ewoks. That's to be expected.
Absolutely. Alpha predators of the universe.
Apparently. All right, gentlemen, any final words to wrap us up here? Thanks for the rank. And 500 first is good to meet you today, and I love hearing the guild leader take on it, and I love this. I love the what did you say it was? Non-improved, or what did you call it?
The despecialized?
Despecialized, yes. Despecialized. I love the despecialized take because I grew up the same way. And you and I have seen these films in the same way and remember them the same way. So that was a really good take of saying, I'll watch these, but only despecialized. I appreciate that. So thanks.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Well, I feel like I need to go back and watch them side by side now and just because my memory is mostly like I did see the original ones growing up, of course, but I'm a bit younger and I always watched them on TV. So I had all the commercial interruptions and everything. I never got to see them in the theaters. Very sad. So I think I remember buying the 90s re-release special editions on VHS. And there was this like black box with gold Vader shape on it.
Yep.
And I think I watched those 100 times. And I think that's pretty much all of my memories are now. It's like that just overrode it.
And
so, yeah, I think I need to go see it again.
Yeah, I've got the VHS over there of the originals. So I'd have to go find a VCR somewhere and figure out I'd have to figure out a way. I had to go buy some adapters to get to work on my television. But yeah, I could actually watch those tapes again, and it would be the original versions, and I would have a strong appreciation for that.
Sweet, with all 50 lines of resolution.
Yeah, right? Oh, man, when you watch old shows, you're like, is this what we used to watch?
Yeah, well, the TV was also...
Right, it was a square, yeah,
smaller,
right?
Yep. Yeah, it was... I remember my first 27-inch TV, which I thought was just huge, but, we would still sit way back and watch that thing. The whole family did.
And it weighed
Nowadays,
400
it's like,
pounds.
give me an 85. Yes, it did. Anyway, okay, we're showing our age here. We need to move on. Well, 501st, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It was really great to hear from you. I normally say tell folks where they can find you, but I don't think you have a YouTube channel. I don't know. Anything you want to share?
Not really. Just maybe a bit of parting advice for people running guilds is make your Discord as fun as you can. Don't just have it be, for the game. Have, like we do, have pet channels, have sports channels, make it a good discussion place for your guild to be in and hang out in. And they'll have a lot more fun hanging out, and they might stay in your guild a lot longer too, like we do.
Yes. I think that's great. I think that's some of the best advice. Yeah.
Agreed.
I've been in other guilds that just the Discord is stagnant and it's just like, why am I here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right,
gentlemen. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. We had a good time talking to Gerbil's Guild Leader 500 First Day. Thank you, sir, for jumping on here. Everyone, I hope you all have a great day. And, of course, always remember, NOOCH and Gerbil and 501st Trooper 74 Too Good.